come in and score, but he didn't even move off the bag. So runners at second and third now. Pitch inside. McCracken having a little struggles here since he's come in. He's given up 4 runs in this inning. And that one's another pitch. It misses inside, and that's ball 4. That is the 4th walk of this inning. They've had 4 walks, a hit batter, actually 2 hit batters, and 1 single. And the bases are reloaded now for Louisiana with Mason Burnham, the pitcher, up. Burnham fouled out to the shortstop. Ball that Wyatt Huffman got tangled up with his third baseman, who's now pitching Knox McCracken, and ended up having to leave the game for a little while. First pitch fouled off. Counts no balls and 1 strike. Again, these two teams are already set up for where they're playing next. Louisiana is going to have a bye through to Saturday. South Carolina is going to take on Arkansas tomorrow. Pitch down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. We've got 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. 9-2 now. Louisiana with the lead. There's a good pitch. McCracken gets that one over there. Got balls, goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Base is loaded. That pitch comes flying in, but luckily for South Carolina, there was nothing you could do with Louisiana's runner from third coming in. They almost got an out at first base, however, as Corey Coleman kind of lost track of the fact he had a runner in front of him at second base, took off for the second base bag and realized there's somebody already standing there. He had to scurry back to the bag and avoid getting tagged out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one lifted, second baseman calling for it. He will make the catch for out number 2. Well, and I think they lost count of how many outs there were as a run just tagged up and scored. Craig tagging up from third base as South Carolina kind of fell asleep about how many outs there were in the inning, thinking the inning may have been over. And Craig tagged up and scored and made it a 10-2 ball game. Trying to get a dry baseball in there while we got back to action. There's still some rain coming down. It's a intriguing last score to make it 10-2. They've had 5 in the first, now 5 in the second for Louisiana. And this pitch almost plunked Isaac Kelly in the head. 1 ball, no strikes now. Louisiana looking a little formidable. A little spin around, try to throw to second, but nothing doing over there as Futrell was not far from the bag. The 1-0 pitch, inside, ball 2. That's 20 pitches now for McCracken. That's the most that any of the 4 pitchers for South Carolina has thrown today. And another one misses wide. 3 balls and no strikes. Walks are not your friends. 4 of them already in this inning, and a 3-0 count on Isaac Kelly. He would be the 10th man to come to the plate this inning. And this one hit right on the line to first base, and there is Wyatt Huffman to snag it and end the inning. But South Carolina gives up 5 more runs in this second inning. 5 runs on 4 walks and just 1 base hit. 2 men left on base. We're through 2 full innings. Louisiana with a 10-2 lead over South Carolina. We'll take a break. We're coming right back here on Game Day. Welcome back. Top of the third inning. Chuck Zach along with you as we come at you live from Tinsley Athletic Complex, Bossier City, Louisiana. We'll have, you hear that noise? That means there's going to be a change in the field somewhere. All right, so quick changes for the folks from Louisiana as they brought Jace Mott back to right field and Corey Coleman to second base. Looks like Levi Futrell out of the game for a minute. 10-2 ball game. South Carolina will have the 10, 11, and 1 hitters in their lineup coming to the plate. And that means Anderson Ball, Stanton Barker, and Fisher Smith.
The parents like to hear the child's name called, so it'd probably be a good idea to keep calling it in.
Ball and Barker have yet to bat in this game.
Thank you.
Smith's the leadoff man. He struck out his first time up. So 10-2 is the score. Back on the mound is starter Mason Berneman, who has worked his way through 2 innings, throwing just 32 pitches. Again, you can throw 40 or 39 without having to worry about having to sit out tomorrow. So he probably will throw a few here and then be done. This may be his only batter he faces. First pitch fouled back by Anderson Ball for strike number 1. The rest of the defense for Louisiana. Jared Craig's behind the plate. Futrell at first, Coleman at second, Dubois at short, Arnold at third. Pitch down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bryson Otwell's out in the left, Isaac Kelly in center, and Jace Mott's in right. And tell you what, the batter stepped out trying to get time out, and the umpire wouldn't give it to him, so he looked at strike 2 going by. Now the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there's a quick discussion going on the mound real fast as Jared Craig's trying to figure out what he and Mason Berneman had wrong and not on the same page. Apparently they got it fixed now. All right, 1 ball, 2 strikes as Ball steps back in. Top of the third inning. Just missing outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And he's got 3 pitches left to go, and you would expect this will be all she wrote. Foul ball. 37th pitch. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, Louisiana probably don't have to worry about it as much. They're not playing tomorrow, so they really don't have to come back in till Saturday. So 48 hours would be just about the max if they let Berneman throw a whole lot more. Otherwise, a 36-hour layover, that's plenty of time for him to be back in action on Saturday in Louisiana's next game. That pitch misses, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. And here is the 3-2, and that one hits him in the shoulder. So Ball gets on with a hit by pitch. South Carolina did this a little bit in the second inning. They went 1-2-3 basically in the first and picked up 2 runs in the second, showing a little bit of life offensively. Well, they kind of ran out of gas. Now they're going to get Stanton Barker, the number 11 hitter in the order, up. Barker looks at a first pitch, top of the zone for strike 1. Anderson Ball, the runner at first. And a little throw over with a 10-2 lead. Louisiana wants to make sure that South Carolina doesn't start a rally here. No, that's a good one on the outside part of the plate. No balls, 2 strikes now. Swung on. This one popped up in foul territory, and the catcher can't quite get to it as Craig gave it a look. It probably was first baseman's ball, but he gave way to the catcher, and Craig just couldn't get the glove on it. So it's now 41 pitches for Mason Berneman. So if we worried about the 40 pitch count, it doesn't matter anymore. He's good through 65 pitches now before you got to worry about him potentially missing some time depending on the schedule on Saturday. Oh, a little high and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Berneman's done a good job throwing the ball over the plate so far today. He misses here. 2-2. He's not walked anybody. Gave up 3 hits so far. Well, I say not walked anybody. Hit 1 batter. Gave up 3 hits. And there's strike 3 looking. So Barker goes down on strike. Second strikeout for Mason Berneman. And there's 1 away here in the top of the 3rd inning. And we're back to the top of the order. Fisher Smith. First pitch high and outside, ball 1. And for a second time, Craig's coming out to see his pitcher. And this is a conversation a little bit more about where you're releasing the ball. Craig saw something that he's trying to pass on to Berneman. Khalid Tyler is the on-deck hitter now for South Carolina. 1 away. This one hit in the air. It's out in the outfield, center field calling for it, and Isaac Kelly will secure it for out number 2. 10-2 lead for Louisiana here. And it's really been a matter of base on balls and balks and hit batters. It's not that the South Carolina bats have been tearing the place up. I mean, in total, they've got 3 hits through those first 2 innings to get those 10 runs on the board. Yeah, Greg getting ready again as he's got a shoe issue that's resolved. And here's Khalid Tyler. Tyler grounded out to 3rd base in his only at bat so far. Pitch down low, and that's going to allow Anderson Ball to take 2nd base on the wild pitch. Mason already. Pitch swung on and fouled back into the screen. Catcher makes a nice play of it bouncing off the net. They ought to give him an out for that. He made a nice little move around the umpire and made an athletic grab. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike on Khalid Tyler, the catcher for South Carolina. On deck, Alex Norris. South Carolina with 2 runs, 3 hits. You've left on 1 runner so far. And now we got equipment problems. He did all that, and then the catcher's mask strap came undone. On the other side, 10 runs for Louisiana. They've done that courtesy of 3 hits, and they've left 3 runners on base. Been aided by 1 error, and as we said, a handful of walks. 3 in the 1st inning, 4 in the 2nd inning. Smart Berneman staying warm by playing a little catch with the left side of his infield. All right, equipment's resolved. We're back to action. Tyler ready. Berneman back on the mound with the ball. Counts 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Swung on, line towards 2nd base. 1 hopper, throw across in time, and that'll end the inning. No runs for South Carolina in the 3rd. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. Bottom of the 3rd coming up, 10-2. Louisiana with the lead here on Game Day. right, welcome back. Chuck Sack with you live from Bossier City for the 12 and under Ozone World Series Division 2. Division 1's going to happen this same place next weekend. New pitcher on the mound for Louisiana. Excuse me, for South Carolina. Stanton Barker becomes the 5th pitcher for South Carolina. So what began with Eli Gore, it seemed like forever ago, then Anderson Ball, Spencer Johnson, Knox McCracken, and now Stanton Barker getting a chance on the mound. South Carolina looking for somebody that can throw the ball over the plate right now. Out in center field for South Carolina, Eli Gore will take his position out in center for Alex Norris. Gore started the game on the mound. Earlier, I was doing a little homework on both of these communities. Prospect in Grant Parish, we said about 500 people live in that community. They've had a couple of major leaguers. Ed Head, a left-handed pitcher who played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Interesting story. Was involved in a car accident early in his life. Ended up with what had been a left arm that he was a pitcher with so badly mangled it almost had to be amputated. He switched to his right hand and started pitching with it, and ultimately joined the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1940 and pitched in 42, and the big club's starting rotation went 10-6 that year. And joined the Army during World War II and missed part of 1945 and all of 1944 and 45 because of World War II, and threw a no-hitter when he came back into the majors against the Boston Braves at Ebbets Field in 1946. Got hurt again and never pitched again. His no-hitter was one of the last games he ever pitched. All right, up there for Louisiana now. They go back at it with a 10-2 lead. And now a 3-0 count is Caden Crooks. Crooks struck out to end the first inning. The other major leaguer out of Prospect and Grant Parish is Russ Springer. It's a player who was drafted by the Yankees back in 1989. So base on balls on 4 pitches. Another walk for the pitching staff for South Carolina. That's their 8th. And we're back down to the number 10 hitter, Justin Sayer. Walked, stole a base, reached third on a balk, and came in to score. And off goes the runner for second base on a ball that ends up in center field. McCracken behind the plate threw that one a little wild as he comes in to catch for Cully Tyler. So Crooks takes the steal on the ball. And it's a 1-0 count. Jace Mott, bottom of the order, waiting on deck. Here's the pitch from Barker down low, and he's missed on 6 in a row now. The 2-0 swung on. This is going to be hit. One hopper to shortstop. Throw over, bounces past Huffman at first base. Coming in to score is Crooks to make it 11-2. And you credit the error that time on the shortstop. As a run comes in from Caden Crooks at second base. Justin Sayer, by the way, ends up at second on the throwing error by the shortstop. So Jace Mott coming up now. Mott walked and scored in the second. 11-2 now. Louisiana with a lead. First pitch high, bounces out of the glove of McCracken, and that allows Sayer to take another base. And not just one, but how about two? He comes all the way around and scores to make it a 12-2 ball game. Well, that's how you get around the bases. What looked like a ground out in the first out of the inning. Sayer ended up getting on the air, took the extra base when the throw went into the right field foul area, and then comes around and scores on a pass ball when he hustles the catcher to get back to the plate. Count now 2-0. They make it 3-0. Get ready because another plane's about to buzz us to Barksdale. One floating on in. 3 balls and no strikes. And that pitch is up high, ball 4. Been a rough inning already for Stanton Barker. A walk, an error by a shortstop, and another walk. 2 runs have come across already. And now it's back to the top of the order, and Bryson Otwell. Otwell with a walk, and he's been hit by a pitch, and he scored twice. In fact, we're getting to a place where almost every member of the Louisiana team has scored and trying to steal the base. That time, Mott got thrown out. McCracken delivered that down to shortstop. He got the first out of the inning. So with a 12-2 lead and 1 away, 0-1 count on Otwell. Here's the pitch. And that one bounces away again. And again, the wet baseball, they're constantly exchanging balls right now. That's kind of what's happened. The pitcher's throwing the ball he just used, and it rolled around the turf over to third base where they're cleaning off the ball and just basically exchanging it after every time it gets hit. Another pitch high and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Ashton Dubois on deck for Louisiana. Ooh, hard hit ball. Short hops past the third baseman into left field. And they'll stop at first base. Will Otwell, who's now on base for a 3rd time this afternoon. He turned on that one and picked up the, I think, 2nd hit, 3rd hit, 4th hit now for Louisiana. Here's Dubois now. Dubois singled in the 1st and walked in the 2nd, scored both times. Pitch up high, but he goes after it and fouls that back. And Otwell, who was off and running, is going to have to go back to first base. I think maybe we cleared out some of that weather. It all kind of came in at one time and got us a little bit of a lightning delay, dropped a little rain, but things have not necessarily cleared up, but lightened up a little bit. Pitch bounces in there. Off goes the runner Otwell. He'll take second base uncontested. And now he's back in scoring position for Dubois. Jared Craig is the on-deck hitter for Louisiana. That one's high, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Stanton Barker, the 5th pitcher already for South Carolina this afternoon. And another one bounces in. That's going to be easy for Otwell to take third base on the wild pitch. McCracken's getting a workout here, moving behind the plate. So Otwell standing at third with 1 out here in the 3rd. 2-2 count on Ashton Dubois. That's ball 3. Well, I said, sorry, it was a 3-2 count. Now it's ball 4. No, I was trying to begin with. It was 2-2. I thought I'm wrong the way the batter took off, and I should have just trusted myself and not the 12-year-old. He'll come back and do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now the umpires are conferring. Yep, 3-2. Only guy doesn't agree is Dubois. He's like, no, wait a minute. That was ball 4. Umpire said 3-2. Press box said 3-2. And it's a swing and a miss, and that's out number 2. The Dubois goes down on strikes, and Jared Craig comes up now. Craig has flown out to right, been hit by a pitch, and scored a run. And still standing at third is Bryson Otwell. South Carolina trying to keep Louisiana from scoring 5 times again. They've done that the first 2 innings, and this one's going to be run number 3 as Otwell's going to trot on in on the wild pitch. So he scored 3 runs today. And Louisiana goes up 13-2. So base is clear for Jared Craig. Here's the pitch to him, and that's way high. Ball number 2. 2 balls and no strikes now to Craig. Bentley Albert on deck for Louisiana. This inning began with a walk to Caden Crooks, an error by the shortstop. Let Sayer get on. Mott walked, but he got thrown out trying to steal second. Single by Otwell and a strikeout to Dubois. Now it's 2 balls and no strikes. Craig showing bunt and pulls the bat back as the pitch sails high and outside for ball 3. When we got here today, we were a little bit on the chilly side, I guess, 77 degrees. And there's ball 4. So yet another base on balls for South Carolina pitchers. It's 82 right now. Still a little rain in the forecast. Maybe about 60% chance of rain in the next hour. After that, it starts tapering off, and by 5, it should be over. And South Carolina's coach coming out, and they're going to bring in another arm. 6th pitcher of the day about to come out for South Carolina as Stanton Barker's time is over. They'll bring in, looks like their left fielder coming on to take a shot at it. We'll take a quick timeout while they are warming up a new pitcher. I'll bring you back as he gets ready to roll. 13-2 our score. Louisiana in command here over South Carolina as we're playing in the bottom of the 3rd for our Diamond League Ozone 12 and under Division II World Series pool play game number 2. We're back in a minute here on Game Day. All righty, welcome back. Jackson Johnson, the new pitcher for South Carolina, the 6th one they have used in the first 3 innings today. Right now, the issue for Brandon Tyler, the head coach, is finding somebody that'll throw strikes, because that has been their bugaboo right now. They've walked 3 in this inning, 4 in the last inning, 3 in the first inning. So add that up quickly, and that's 10 walks through 3 innings. So new pitcher is going to face Bentley Arnold, who has singled and popped out. Johnson with a pretty good looking fastball, actually. He may be a guy you see a little bit later on in this tournament if South Carolina can survive. The others have struggled to find the zone. We'll see if Jackson Johnson's got a little bit better lock-in on where that ball needs to go. Runner at first base for Louisiana. There's 2 outs in the inning. Jared Craig, the runner down there. They show bunt. That one's in there for a strike. Throw down to second base, not in time. And actually it caught the runner, Craig, right in the shoulder, I think. Almost looked like it almost came up and got him in the face, but he's holding his left shoulder. That ball may have bounced in and got him there. So a strike on the pitch, a stolen base by Craig. Oh, that was a weird look. It looked like it bounced up and got him in the head, but he may have jammed his shoulder sliding in. He gets a little applause. He's still rubbing on that left part of his shoulder neck. All right, we'll try it again. No balls and 1 strike now on Bentley Albert, runner at second base. Fastball, this one pounded foul wide of the first base coach over there. I'll be honest with you, so far 2 pitches is all I've seen, but I think Jackson Johnson may be the most accurate best arm South Carolina's shown us so far. I'm getting a little bit of work here. Again, this is pool play stuff, so none of this matters for wins and losses in this double elimination tournament. That one misses a little bit wide. Kraken unable to handle that as it allows the runner to take third base. What you're looking for here is what pitchers do I have that feel comfortable on the mound. It's always a different thing. We were talking to one of the directors here a little bit ago, and sometimes these teams haven't played on a field turf to get to here. Everything feels a little bit different. That's why pool play was actually started for the Diamond Youth Baseball World Series, to give kids another chance to get on the field and play a little bit more and get a little more comfortable before it counts for real. So while a team may not look good on pool play, it doesn't matter. They may figure it out between then and the beginning of elimination play over the next couple of days. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball misses a little wide. The count evens at 2-2 on Bentley Albert. Levi Futrell is the on-deck hitter for Louisiana. And that misses wide. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There's one pitcher from the PD Conway, South Carolina area in the majors right now. Grant Holmes went to Conway High School. This one inside, but he took a swing at it and goes down on strikes, and that will end the 3rd inning. A couple of more runs come across for Louisiana. They get 3 runs on 1 hit. There was 1 error and 1 man left on base. Top of the 4th coming up, 13-2, Louisiana in control here. We're game number 2 here on Game Day. All righty, welcome back. Chuck Zach with you here on Texarkana Game Day, where we're happy to be able to bring you all of the play this week in the Division II World Series for Ozone. We'll be back doing the same thing again next week for Division I, as their tournament begins on August the 2nd. Will run its way through August the 7th. Right now, though, Louisiana with a 13-2 lead. We're down to, what, about 15 minutes or so left in this game before we run out of clock. It'll take a little time between games and get Game 3 ready to roll. Again, we've had winners already today. Alabama with a win over Georgia. Florida with a win over North Carolina. They're just kind of setting up where they're going to be on day 2 when the games that count begin. On the mound for Louisiana, it's like Jace Mott out there, where he will continue work now. So for South Carolina, it's the 3-4-5 hitters coming up. We'll start with Alex Norris. First pitch to him outside for ball 1. He singled in the first. He's got one of the, I think, 3 hits so far for South Carolina. This one's going to be hit number 2 as he hits it right over the head of the shortstop into left field. And a leadoff hit for Norris. So he's 2 for 2 today.
Now batting in 2, Jackson Johnson.
Jace Mott, who had started this game in right field, on the mound now. And he'll face Jackson Johnson. Johnson reached on an error and stole a base and takes a look at first base and kind of sort of started his swing, but able to hold it up enough. Field umpire says, now he can go around. So it's 1 ball, no strikes. The second pitcher of the day for Louisiana. Mason Berneman went the first 3 innings, pitch up high. 2 balls and no strikes. Craig going out and again kind of correcting the delivery of his pitcher. He did that with Berneman a couple times. He sees something on the delivery he's not liking. This is the first catcher I've seen that's hopped up and kind of talked to the pitchers about their delivery. And swing and a miss by Johnson. Looked like Mott kind of dropped down to a little bit of a 3/4 inch side, or 3/4 sidearm that time. Norris down at first is feigning like he wants to take off. See if he runs here. No, not so far. That one again outside the strike zone, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. South Carolina trailing 13-2. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Berneman finished up with 47 pitches, so he's out of commission for 36 hours, but that's no big deal since they don't play in the next 36 hours. And there's ball 4. Jackson Johnson down to first base with a base on balls. For Louisiana pitchers, that is the first walk? I believe it is. First walk they've handed out. So the number 5 hitter, Wyatt Huffman, up now. Huffman doubled. Ball that he pounded over the center fielder's head back in the 2nd inning. One called strike down low. No balls and 1 strike to Wyatt Huffman. He was opening the game at shortstop, moved over to first base. That pitch misses a little bit wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. South Carolina with runners at first and second. Norris at second, Johnson at first. Johnson very aggressive with that lead over at first base. That pitch misses low and away again. 2 balls and 1 strike. So we're playing here in the top of the 4th. The way this is going on time, this may be the last at-bat South Carolina is going to see today. Trying to rally back from this 13-2 deficit. All right, here's the pitch. Huffman swings, grounds one through the infield into center field. They're going to send the runner coming around from third. Throw's coming in that direction, but it's up the line a little bit. Tell you what, I'm a little worried right there about the way Alex Norris came around. And I mentioned earlier, one of the earlier players hit the bag or hit the base a little bit funny coming in at home plate. It's slick. And so when you try to put your foot up on that, you slide. And what happened right there for Alex Norris was exactly that, kind of slid on that base and ended up face planting just past home plate, but he comes around to score anyway to make it a 13-3 ball game. Second RBI of the day for Wyatt Huffman, who's 2 for 2 now. And up comes Knox McCracken. Runners at first and second. McCracken 0 for 1 with a ground out to third base. 1 ball, no strikes. McCracken opened this game at third. He's been behind the plate catching. That's ball outside, ball 2. Jace Mott working for Louisiana here in the 4th. There you get a look pretty early that Huffman's the real deal. Good ground ball this time. Second baseman on 2 hops. Got to pick it up fast and throws it wide. South Carolina's going to pick up at least 1 more run. Is coming in to score from second base is Jackson Johnson. Huffman goes over to third base, and staying at first is McCracken, who reaches on the error by the second baseman. So Johnson comes in to score. They make it a 13-4 game with Huffman standing at third now and Spencer Johnson up. And they'll give away second base without any contest. Johnson singled, reached second on a balk in the second inning. The runners at second and third. Here's the pitch. That one inside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. You have Jackson Johnson and Spencer Johnson on this South Carolina team out of PD. Here's the pitch. Whoa, way outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Two runs across here in the 4th inning for South Carolina. And make that ball 3. Coming in to score is Huffman to make it a 13-5 game. McCracken to third base. And down to first, Spencer Johnson. Here's Eli Gore now. Gore has flown out to right. And before we get going, looks like Louisiana's coach is coming out to see his pitcher. And he wants the baseball from him. So Jace Mott managed to, well, he didn't get any out so far. He's come in, faced 5 batters. They've all reached base. He's walked 2, given up 2 singles, and had an error behind him, and we're going to get our third Louisiana pitcher of the day. And warming up for them now will be number 1, Bentley Albert. Albert began this game at third base, and he'll become the 3rd Louisiana pitcher, another right-hander warming up, and he's going to get Eli Gore as the first batter that he sees. So 13-5 the score. South Carolina's got a couple of runners on here. Middle part of their order. Norris has 2 hits. Johnson's been on an error and a walk. Huffman's got a double and a single and a couple RBIs. That middle 3, 4, 5 guys, which are supposed to be your better hitters, have come through today. First pitch from Gore, smacks a grounder toward third. Glove there, throw, whoa! Way over the head of the first baseman. 1 run comes in to score. Second one's going to be held up at third base, and it's a 13-6 game. As Gore reaches on the air by the third baseman, McCracken comes in to score. Spencer Johnson goes over to third base. And there are still no outs in this inning. Now Bentley Albert throws 1 pitch, and instead of getting it out, he gives up a run, and the runners at first and third now. This one is swing and a miss, and down to first base, Eli Gore, as Zaire Williams steps up. Williams struck out back in the 2nd inning. Another uncontested steal. Pitch misses outside. It's 2 balls, no strikes now. Zaire Williams. This one fouled back to the screen. Still don't have any outs for South Carolina here in this inning. They're trying to, like I said, they may not get another at bat, and they're going to work it here. Actually, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, not 2 and 1. Here's the 1-2. Ooh, laid off of a very close pitch, and it's 2 and 2. Almost got hit. Ball 3 inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson Ball, who led off an inning ago, comes back up. He's about ready to get back into the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nope, missed ball 4. So base on balls has loaded the bases for South Carolina. 3rd walk in this inning. And here's Ball, who was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, got stranded at second base. Pitch on the way. Ball swings and misses. Strike 1. Bentley's pitch misses ball 2. It's kind of a thing. You're asking young guys to come in and throw without having their arms warmed up, really. It's a bit of a challenge. That ball gets by the catcher. They're going to send a runner. And coming in to score head first is Johnson from third base. And let's make it 13-7. And that was the last runner that was the responsibility of the previous pitcher, Jace Mott. Got now 2 balls and 1 strike to Ball as both runners moved up. Williams is at second, Gore is at third, and this one's fouled out of play, first base side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Because Louisiana, the home team, they are leading. So we may run out of time, and they may not even have to bat. Swung on, ground ball towards short. Scooped up. Throw across, not in time. It's off the mark. 1 run scores. 2nd run scores as Williams comes across, and they make it 13-9. Another error by Louisiana. It's their 3rd of the inning. So Stanton Barker comes up. This game was 13-2 a few minutes ago. South Carolina has sent 7 runners to the, 8 runners to home plate to bat. 7 of them have scored so far, with the 8th one coming up. And it's all of a sudden a 13-9 score, and there's still no outs in this inning. This began with a single by Norris, a walk to Jackson Johnson, a single by Huffman that scored in a run. McCracken reached on an error by the second baseman. Spencer Johnson walked. Gore reached on an error by the third baseman. Williams walked. Ball reached on an error by the shortstop. And now, whoa, pitch almost got Barker in the head, was behind him for ball 1. Albert Bentley is coming in relief here, trying to close the door on this, and he's not getting a lot of help behind him. He's faced 3 batters, and 2 of them reached on errors. And I don't know if we've got something down in the corner that home plate umpires come out of his crouch and paying attention to something down that left field line. 2 balls and no strikes. Got a little grin from the umpire there. Here's the pitch. That's a strike. 2-1 now to Barker. He's the number 11 hitter in the order, so we roll back to the top of the order after this at bat. That one's a strike as well. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Stanton Barker's watched the last couple roll by. This one swung on and fouled, sliced out of play first base side. 2 balls and 2 strikes still. The score 13-9, but there's still a runner on first base and nobody out here for South Carolina. Here's the pitch. Oh, got him on strike 3 looking, as Barker's gone down on strikes now for the 2nd time today. And that's the first out of this 4th inning, finally. There's Fisher Smith now back to the top of the order. Smith is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. First pitch to him, in there for a strike. Smith, top of the order. He started at second base. He's been playing shortstop ever since Huffman got tripped up on the foul ball earlier. A little lob throw over to first, back in time. Louisiana with 5 runs in the first, 5 in the second, 3 in the third. The pitch is up high. Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. South Carolina, no runs in the first, 2 in the second, none in the third, but here in the 4th, they've put up 7 already. That ball high again. Three balls, 1 strike. Here's the 3-1. That one in there for a strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now they're calling it 2-2. Sorry, 2 balls. Well, inside and almost got hit was Fisher, and now it is a 3-2 count. So 3 balls and 2 strikes on Fisher Smith. Runner at first is Anderson Ball. If this guy gets on, this gets really interesting, and there it is, ball 4. All right. Yeah, Cully Tyler's coming up. Tyler 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. And Louisiana's coach is asking for the baseball again. Albert Bentley's unable to get out of the inning. In fact, he recorded just 1 out of the 5 batters he faced, so we get another pitcher for Louisiana. They were cruising along, and now all of a sudden they're hoping to close this one out with a win. They're bringing a new pitcher in. They're trying to figure out a way to shut this thing down. Coleman is their pitcher who's coming in now. That's number 7, Corey Coleman. He is the 4th pitcher for Louisiana.
Corey Coleman.
Mason Berneman started this game, and he did a real nice job through his 2+ innings that he worked. He actually went 3 innings, and they've gone to 3 different pitchers in this inning. Mott, then Albert, now Coleman in the 4th inning. Coleman with the green glove is now changing his glove. He's swapping gloves with his 3rd baseman. This game started a little late, and then we got hit with a lightning delay. And now we've had a walk fest that's just added this thing up a little bit. And 10 walks by South Carolina pitchers through 3 innings. And Louisiana pitchers, which had rolled on without too much issue, all of a sudden have walked 4 of their own in this inning. Coleman finishing his warm-ups. If Cully Tyler can reach base somehow, the tying run's coming to the plate.
Tyler.
Well, surprise, surprise, the runner-up from South Carolina could have laid down and died going into this inning. Instead, they have fought back. So here's Tyler now. Corey Coleman against Cully Tyler. Coleman's first pitch, bunt put down. This one's a beaut. There'll be no play anywheres. Everybody's going to be safe on a bunt single by Cully Tyler. All right, well, bases loaded. Tying run coming to the plate. Alex Norris, who's 2 for 2 and already led off this inning with a single forever ago, comes up for a second time. I tell you what, if I'm Louisiana, I'm a little nervous here. There's only 1 out, and 2 batters from now is Wyatt Huffman, who looks very comfortable. First pitch, a swinging foul for strike 1. And strike 2 as Norris goes for 1 he probably should have laid off of. Got a little uber aggressive. That one skips by the catcher. Nobody's going anywhere with that. It came quickly off the facade in front of us and bounced back toward Jared Craig, the catcher. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm pretty much sure we're officially out of time for the game, although the visiting team has a chance to continue their at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Corey Coleman trying to work out of the jam. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss as he struck out Alex Norris for the second out of the inning. Yeah, South Carolina's down to Jackson Johnson. They got a 13-9 game. The bases are loaded, and he again is the tying run. Johnson looks at a first pitch down low, ball 1. Johnson has reached on an error by the shortstop and walked, and he has scored 2 runs.
Yes, he is. Some stuff happened when Cole Snell is
1 ball, no strikes. Actually, 2 balls, no strikes. Oh, Johnson swings and misses. Pitch a little bit wide of the zone, but close enough. The count's now 1-1. Tying outside, ball 2. Very dangerous. Wyatt Huffman waiting on deck. They can get to him. 2 balls, 1 strike. Coleman delivers. Swing and a miss. Johnson trying to step back on the inside pitch and swung underneath it. That was a tough place to hit one. Tied him up on his hands, up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch, a breaking ball. Boy, it backed off Johnson and almost broke back over the inside part of the plate. Coleman did not miss that by a whole lot. He had Johnson basically back on his backside and just missed. So now it's 3-2. Everybody's off and running. Here comes the pitch. Miss low ball 4. And a run walks home. Coming in from third, Anderson Ball. Well, here you go. This is the matchup you want if you're South Carolina. You got your big bat up there. Wyatt Huffman's already 2 for 2. He's driven in a couple runs. He had a double that he pounded to straightaway center field. And here you go. First pitch, low. Catcher can't find it. And there's no way they're going to make the third out at home plate with Huffman up, and so everybody holds on. And it's just ball 1. 13-10 the score. South Carolina has brought 11, 12, 13. This is the 14th man to the plate in the 4th inning. Well, one didn't miss by much. 2 balls, no strikes. Just out of the strike zone. Johnson, by the way, now has reached all 3 times. 2 walks and an error. Golly, Tyler almost got himself in trouble over there at second base. Here's the pitch. Fouled out by Huffman. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Corey Coleman, 3rd pitcher of the inning. Mott Albert Coleman for Louisiana as he's trying to shut the door and end this thing. Mississippi and Tennessee are waiting in the wings. Here's the pitch. This one lifted. Second baseman calling for it. He'll make the over-the-shoulder grab, and finally, loudly, South Carolina goes down to end this one. Pop out to the second baseman is enough to end the inning finally. 13-10 the score, and that will be the way they end it here. So Louisiana with a win over South Carolina, 13-10. South Carolina will take on Arkansas in tomorrow's matchup. That game is set for, let's see, noon tomorrow on Field 9. Louisiana with the day off tomorrow. They'll be back in action on Saturday. So we'll wrap it up here. South Carolina rallied, made it close, but fall short to Louisiana 13-10 in game 2 here in our pool play on field number 10. All right. We will sign off for this one. For those who are fans of either Tennessee or Mississippi, we'll be back in a couple minutes as they get ready to start their game here on Game Day. You've been watching us here on the Diamond Youth Division II 12 and under Ozone World Series. Coming to you live from Bossier City. We'll be back in a little bit.